Hello everyone and welcome back to Schleichhorst Studios. In today's video, I thought I would do a short little tutorial on how to film and start filming YouTube videos. So I'm definitely not an expert in this, but I wanted to help you guys out. A lot of you have said that you were inspired by me to start YouTube channels, but didn't know exactly how to make a proper video. I hope that these tips and tricks can help you get started with YouTube. Alright, let's get into it. So first you need something to film your videos with. And for me that's an iPhone 14 Pro at the moment, but you can definitely look into DSLR, video cameras, and more. I just find that phones are a great place to start before investing in something fancy and complicated. I'd rather learn the tips and tricks and ins and outs of videography before investing in something quite expensive. I find that the phone works just fine for now, but I definitely will make that investment in the future if YouTube really does become my big thing. So something important to consider right off the bat is the zoom of your video. If it's very heavily zoomed in, it will probably be able to capture a lot more detail than a very zoomed out video. You want to place your tripod pretty close to whatever you're filming. In my case, it is a model horse, but you also want to have the camera nice and zoomed in and on a nice sturdy tripod to avoid it wiggling around. And then we have cat shenanigans and distractions. Also, you want to find a couple different angles that work well for you. You don't just want to keep the phone or camera in the same place every time. That can get a little bit boring, so I like to kind of move my camera around, plan out where I think the best angle is for the videography, and then I can go from there and adjust as I go. For having to zoom in your footage, I would recommend one of the newer phones. They have better cameras, and I do happen to have an iPhone 6 as well, and all the zoomed in footage on that phone looks very pixelated and quite bad, to be honest, so I wouldn't recommend very old phones for this. Just look at how shaky the footage is. Sometimes I do like to have the phone up high, and for this I use this tripod for it. It is like fully adjustable and is honestly a lifesaver. I got it for Christmas and I think the brand is Joby. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And then I got this top by the brand Ulanzi. Again, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but what I love about this is you can move the top part whichever way, and then also the legs are very bendable and extendable and could kind of hook on to anything as well, which is super cool. Something I've learned is you want to keep the view in the camera non-chaotic, if you will. Lighting and stuff should kind of be behind the camera, and there shouldn't be a lot of distractions kind of interfering. These like ring lights and lamps can pose big distractions, so you want to kind of keep those behind the scenes. And speaking of lighting, that's something very important that I'm going to talk a little bit about now. I use this ring light, and though it looks kind of cool when captured on camera, I use it on the warmest setting possible, and I change how strong the light is depending on what I'm trying to film, and also the time of day, how cloudy it is, etc. It's very nice and casts a nice warm light and makes filming a lot easier and just makes the lighting in my videos look better. As well as artificial light, I always like to have some form of natural light, and usually that means having my windows open. It's even if it's cloudy, it's always a good option to have. It just kind of gives a natural light that you can't really get artificially and just brightens everything up regardless. I also always pretty much have my overhead light on, and that just kind of makes the room brighter and you can see better. So, as well as looking at how the lighting looks outside the camera, you want to see how it looks looking through the camera, because that's kind of how the video is going to be captured. So I often like to come right up close to the camera and see from there. Now, you don't need any fancy lighting. I sometimes just use my work lamp, but I don't feel like it gives the best, softest effect, and I feel like it kind of can cast strange shadows, if you know what I mean. With that being said, it's very useful at times, but usually if I'm using it, I have the camera off because it can cast some strange shadows on camera and just looks a little strange and makes it a little bit harder to see what I'm doing. So here I'll show you guys kind of the difference that lighting can make and the position you have your light. Here the work lamp is casting lots of shadows and really kind of darkens one side of the horse and really brightens the other side, kind of like the moon. So it's kind of a tricky learning curve, but I feel like you can just do trial and error and you'll figure it out soon enough. In short, basically it just means have a nice bright studio space with good lighting, and that will probably attract more viewers to your videos versus if the lighting was kind of crummy. Another good idea is to remove distractions such as this mask and also my mug over here. You just don't want too many things interfering and taking away from the subject, which in my case is a model horse or whatever I'm painting or filming. And I just think it's nice to have fewer distractions so the viewers can kind of focus, and so you can focus as well. So I feel like filming in miniature scenes can be pretty difficult, and a question I get asked pretty often is how I move my riders without showing my hands. And I'm here to tell you I lay my hand flat and hold their leg, and then I can kind of maneuver them from there. And I found this to be pretty useful when filming with my barn, etc. Something annoying that I have found when filming is 1x zoom versus 0.9x zoom. I find that 1x zoom makes it look nice and cinematic and 4K, and then the 0.9x zoom or less will make it look just less cinematic and a little less nice. And even though it's still 4K, I just don't think it looks as nice, so I only go less than 1 zoom when I'm filming close-ups with riders or horses and the camera just won't focus. That's why some videos can be 4K, but they don't really look like it, if you know what I mean. So I just, again, simply use an iPhone 14 camera, and that does seem to work pretty well as this tripod thing attachment, and that's just kind of what I use, and I can just place that in my barn for miniature videography. So these clips were taken on 1x zoom, and you can see how nice and cinematic they look with a aperture, etc. And then the next clips were taken on just a 0.9x zoom, and they just kind of don't look as nice or as artistic as the 1x zoom does. So I'd recommend taking video on 1x zoom or higher if possible, and only using this when strictly necessary. With that being said, I like to get pretty close to whatever I'm trying to film. instead of staying far away and then zooming in tons. I just find the effect is different, even though you can't really tell. For editing, I'm currently just using iMovie, and I find it performs pretty decently for what I'm doing right now, but I would definitely like to upgrade in the future to a better, higher quality editing app. What's nice about iMovie is it's very simple to use, and you can kind of just add tracks together and add recordings, music files, etc. to kind of blend it out and make a movie. So I find that it works pretty well and has a different range of things, so that's good at least. I definitely do want to upgrade, but I think iMovie is a good place to start, and it's on most Apple iPhones, so that's a good thing as well. When producing a video, I almost always exclusively use the voiceover method of doing my talks, and that I think works pretty well. I mute the track and then I add voiceovers on top, and this just mitigates background noise, which is good. Anyways, there are probably way better videos on all of this, and also on the tips and tricks of editing, as well as just videography in general, but I hope that these were good tips for getting started in YouTube and filming videos. I hope that they helped, and I hope that you feel inspired to make videos of your own using these tips. These don't just apply to model horses and miniature videography, but can apply to everything, whether you're getting started in YouTube or getting started taking videos in general. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps me out, and I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers by January 1st, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!